So let's talk about some different types of microphones. I think there's a common misconception that says when you spend more money, the microphone is going to be better. Well, that's not always true. You see, every mic is for a different application, and every vocal sounds different on different microphones. So let's start with this one. That's actually the one that's recording my vocal right now. This is an SM7B, famous for radio broadcasts. It's actually a dynamic microphone, it's not a condenser, which means it doesn't take phantom power. And there's more information on that, but let's just get into talking about the tone. It's known for its warmth. Now, as a dynamic microphone, naturally, it compresses the dynamics on its own. It has like a built-in compressor on its diaphragm. That's what you get from a SM7B, a SM58. So sometimes really aggressive rock vocals. Even Lil Wayne was known to use this microphone all the time. Aggressive rap vocals sound great through this microphone. But dynamic mics sometimes lack the clarity in the top end. So speaking of clarity in the top end, I tend to gravitate towards this Blue Dragonfly. Definitely has a lot of top end. Some people would consider it brittle, but once again, it all depends on the vocal that you're recording. This sounds great on all types of things. I've used it to mic drum kits. Sounds incredible on a snare drum. Occasionally, depending on the hi-hats, it sounds good. But you just need to try. Very warm when you get close. Very brittle when you get far away. So this microphone has a very sweet spot when it comes to the proximity effect. And I would say this is a mid-tier microphone in terms of price. Next, we have this AKG 214, which is very similar to the 414, a famous studio microphone that ranges around $1,000 when you purchase them. This one is a little bit less because it doesn't have all of the polar patterns that the 414 has, but it has pretty much the same components otherwise and uses just a cardioid polar pattern. If you're a vocalist, I would say a lot of the time you're going to be using just a cardioid polar pattern, but not always. So let's talk about this one. This is a small diaphragm microphone by Mojave. Small diaphragm, as you can tell, it's small, and you can see right on there it shows that little that logo. That actually shows you the polar pattern, and you can swap these little capsules out, unscrew them to adjust the polar pattern. Now, a lot of times, small diaphragm condensers or pencil condensers have what they call a hypercardioid polar pattern, which is a more direct focus on the source signal, meaning that if it was aiming at me, it's going to reject sound even remotely off axis, where a microphone like this is going to pick up other things. These are also better with fast transients. So in another video, I'll show you how you can mic a snare, a hi-hat, guitar, and these have a little bit of a different sound. But don't think just because they're smaller, they're not as warm. You'd be amazing. Even vocals can sound great through these microphones. Now let's talk about this one. Origin from Aston. This is a new company on the market. It's really cool. This bizarre design, as you can see, it kind of scrunches. It has a built-in shock mount, which means you don't need this thing when you hook it up. And what is this thing for? Well, that's to prevent the vibrations in the room when someone hits the floor or shakes to get into the recording. Well, this one has it built right in. This is a very affordable microphone. What I like about it so much is it adds a lot of mid-range harmonics, a lot of flair that you get from running, say, a microphone like this through a lot of analog gear. This is designed more for artists that don't have access to that gear but want that sound. So this sounds great on its own through just a consumer interface like a Focusrite Scarlett per se, where these don't sound as detailed as this on its own, but when you run this through a lot of analog gear, it's going to sound even better than this microphone, in my professional opinion. And the last microphone I want to talk about is a very unique mic. You probably have never heard of it. It's this company called Townsend. They make the L22. We're very fortunate to have this microphone. Now, this has 5 pins instead of 3 like a regular XLR. And it has 5 pins because it has 2 diaphragms. It's recording the sound as if there's 2 microphones inside. So believe it or not, just coming out of this XLR spot right here is 2 XLRs. And the reason it does that is because this microphone has technology with the software included that allows you to adjust the proximity effect after you record it. You can also adjust the polar patterns after you record it, and even more so, you can actually model this microphone after about 20 different vintage microphones after you record it. So really my favorite microphone on the market today. Definitely more expensive, probably as much as all of these ones combined. I think it's a great investment. If you're looking to just break in with high fidelity sound right off the bat without breaking the bank, I would go with this. If you're really looking for an option that's an all around microphone on a very low budget, I think this is the best one in the game. And then go try out the 7B. You'd be amazed. It's not a condenser mic. It doesn't have the detail in the high end, but don't think that that's necessarily what your vocal needs. And this is a very special application mic. But when you get into recording more instruments and more applications, it's definitely good to have a small diaphragm in your arsenal. That wraps up our microphone presentation. Get it? Got it? Good.